All right, guys, we're gonna.
If I never catch y'all wearing one of those hats, man.
Slap it out my head.
Yeah.
So we're gonna segue into our culture segment. Speaking of Tepper, he's recently been in the news talking MLS, and I got us thinking: if Charlotte was given a choice, which one would you choose, the MLB or the MLS? Which one is a better fit for our market? Why not both? Guys, you wanna talk
I'll
about
start there. I would personally want MLB over MLS. That's just, I'm getting to it, man. I would personally want MLB over MLS because I kind of feel like MLS is kind of like this hot, trendy thing that may go away in 5 years. I really believe that. And I could be dead wrong about that. Please let me be very clear about that. I think the MLB for me personally is just the historical context of the MLB. It's been around forever. It's quote unquote America's pastime. I've always said an MLB stadium would be cool to throw in downtown, so we don't need everything downtown. You know what I mean? I'm personally waiting for my team, the Oakland A's, to sell the stadium and sell the team and move to North Carolina. That's just me, but that's neither here nor there. Again, man, I just feel like the MLS just doesn't have that. I just think long term it doesn't help Charlotte, man. I just think MLB helps Charlotte in the long term. I think it brings more capital. I think it just brings more money to the city long term. You can bring a lot more events with the MLB stadium than the MLS team. So
we did the poll, and I think it was about 75% MLB from all the voters. And I'll admit, I was a little surprised. I'm not really a follower of either of the sports, but I think MLS would be better than MLB if we had to choose one or the other, simply because they have more of an international following.
Gotcha.
And even if we had a bad team here, we could host international events. Now, Charlotte isn't going to host the Olympics anytime soon. I don't know what would need to happen to host a World Cup or an international soccer tournament, but I could see thousands upon thousands of people coming to Charlotte for an event like that. And I also did some research. Somebody commented on our poll, and they were telling us, well, the Yankees, they always fill out the stadium. And I started looking at baseball stadiums, and I think for the most part, I think the average baseball stadium holds about 60 to 70,000 fans. I can't remember where, but there's a Major League Soccer team, I want to say Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're holding 80, 90,000 fans.
Yeah.
So just more so from the international standpoint, I think soccer would be best. I think MLB, if we started a baseball team here, I think we would have more of a stronger core following, at least initially. But I think soccer is so international that I think it would be better overall.
Gotcha.
I think it would be.
Me personally, I would say MLS. The reason being is they're showing a more of a interest in us, and Tepper is interested in it, and it'll be easy to come up with an MLB because they can share it with the Panthers' new stadium.
right.
That's one reason
I don't want
said
that to happen though.
You don't.
Have you ever seen the Raiders in the A's stadium before?
Oakland.
Yeah, it's ugly. It's
Oakland
ugly.
sucks.
It's not.
It's not an ideal situation.
It's not good sharing two sports like that. Yeah.
But I mean, but you look at the Atlanta soccer team. They share with the Falcons.
Well,
I
think you can do soccer and football because it's essentially the same playing surface.
Yeah.
But with you can share baseball and football.
No.
Because like you were saying, those stadiums out west. I couldn't imagine being a football player playing on that dirt. I couldn't imagine.
And then another issue with me with MLB is why I'm not really kind of fond of it. I mean, it's a slow-paced game. The demographics trend older.
Yeah.
I mean, they do well in their traditional markets, but another issue with me is we have to build a stadium.
Right.
Good luck getting the taxpayers to approve a stadium.
Yeah.
We lost a team about that before.
I mean, we could put it in Valentine, like I said, man.
Yeah. One more thing.
Knock down North Lake and put
One
it
more
in.
thing before we switch over. With MLB, I think if you look 20 years ago, the average age for the fans attending was 35. Was age 35. 20 years later, the average age is 55.
Wow.
So like Rodney was saying, like their core fan base is getting older and older and older. And unless MLB does something to change up the game, to get rid of some of those traditional rules. Because I'm not a baseball fan, but I know some of those unwritten rules that they abide by, they're archaic as hell, and they need to get rid of them. And until they speed the game in some type of way, I think it's going to be a trick.
I'm the old guy on the panel here. How about you youngers just have your attention span be a little longer, man?
Hey, look, I go to some of the game. I go to some of the Charlotte Knights games here, so I'll support them, but just more so business, the impact on the city. I think MLS will just be the.
And then another thing, my thing with MLB, the reason why it's lacking engagement to me is that everything is so social media based now. Right. They don't have a footprint on social media like.
I totally agree with that.
Like NBA players are more visible. Like LeBron James can walk in here, and people that don't know basketball, oh, that's LeBron James. Mike Trout comes in. Who the hell is this guy?
I don't know Mike
That's what I'm saying. Mike Trout is one of the best.
You
would.
But I get your point.
Yeah, but you're closer to 55 than we are too. So you know.
All right, guys. All right, so Charlotte recently had a big debate. Our elected sheriff, Mr. Gary McFadden,
the Tupac of City Council,
he had a falling out with Cornelius over the speed trap issues.
I can't wait to talk about it.
So Vince, shoot your shot, bro.
Okay, so once again, you guys know me, I tend to be pretty jovial. So there I was, scrolling on Facebook one day, and I came across an article, and I read it, and would you like to take a guess as to what my reaction was after we read that article?
What the?
I laughed at it, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of context. You guys know after the Trayvon Martin killing, the Mike Brown killing, we had the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement. Mm-hmm. And as a result, this country countered with the Blue Lives Matter movement. Mm-hmm. And essentially what the Blue Lives Matter, and I really don't need to explain this, but it's basically saying we believe in our police officers. We love our police officers. They can do no wrong. They have a hard job. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of stuff to do. We support our police officers. Stand behind or back the blue. Yeah. Back the blue. So for the last 5 years or so, 5-10 years, we have had this huge pushing for back in the blue, and now those same people are getting upset because they voted in somebody who's doing his job. Yeah. He has done nothing, and he didn't say, hey, we're going to take the speed traps away from the university. Hey, we're going to take the speed traps away from East Charlotte. He didn't do that. He's still doing all that. He just expanded into some of those other areas. And I think, and with me being a minority, I think it is very telling that you can benefit from so much privilege that you feel like you can legitimately get upset and call the police chief to a town meeting because he's doing his job. Yeah. Because the only way to avoid that is to do the speed limit. Just, oh, hey, there's a speed trap. Well, I'm doing a speed limit, so it doesn't affect me. Let me go by my day. But no, we want to get upset because he's actually doing what our taxpayers are paying him to do.
Hey, man, you just shut up and comply, you'll be fine. Jamal.
Look, man, I know the Charlotte Observer doesn't print parody articles, but I legit thought this was a parody. You have got to be kidding me. Listen, I have driven through my neighborhood to get to work and have been met with a checkpoint out of my neighborhood.
Yeah.
What could I possibly look, man? These are not policemen who are like harassing these people for walking their dogs in their neighborhood. These are not policemen who are walking up to these people, asking them what they're doing for a living because they're sitting on top of a pretty car. They are policemen who are doing their job because you're speeding, basically. To me, this is one of the craziest stories I have ever read in regards to local law enforcement doing their job. And there is a town meeting being called because people are doing their job.
And I'm glad you said that. And my bad for cutting you off, but it's so sad that they actually called a town meeting. The police chief had to go in front of the town or city of Cornelius and defend himself as to why he was doing his job.
And then he said, we know why. He basically said, if I'm doing this in whatever
University.
in university, I'm not standing here.
Yeah.
It's 100% truth. You have to be completely blind or obtuse just to not believe that.
Okay, so the Observer wrote an editorial opinion piece, and essentially they call him a uppity Negro. Basically, that's basically what it translated to me too. Do you guys think this is a backlash against him because he supported the 287G, and it's kind of their way of getting back at him? You guys on the 287G?
You know what, man? I don't know if it's a quote unquote necessarily way to get back at him, but at the very least, man, it is extremely childish and petty, man.
Yeah.
It is just extremely childish and petty to call out leadership for doing their job.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of take a different approach. I'm gonna say from the Charlotte Observer, I'm gonna say no. I don't think they intentionally singled him out. Basically for what Jamal said, because they do it to everybody. They've called out like when it comes to journalism, the standards aren't too high. Because we all know a couple months ago.
Yeah, because the Bobcats played the
Spurs. Yeah, exactly. So, but there was a council member a couple months ago who is now going through a divorce, and they had absolutely no problem of posting that piece.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. So it's very sick. It's very sick. So I don't think they attacked him personally. Now, to the people who may be watching, some people may be thinking that we're attacking the Observer because, McFadden is black or whatnot. And let me clarify, that's not the case. Because the Observer has gone after Republicans as well as Democrats, white as well as black, women as well as men. But they post a lot of, I'm going to call it smut.
Gotcha.
I'm going to call it smut.
Now, that may be the case, but, man, the optics look bad on this one.
Yeah, no matter.
That's undeniable. And look, man, from a black person's point of view, the optics look it looks bad. Because, again, man, if there was a situation where these people literally felt like they were being harassed for not doing anything. Again, let me repeat what I said. These people are not getting asked where they work at because they're driving a fancy car through these neighborhoods, okay? They're not being questioned for stuff they don't do. They call them a town hall meeting because they feel like they should get away with breaking the law. The optics look bad.
Agreed.
Again, but I also agree with what you said. The Charlotte Observer, they have written a lot of smut. It has covered all genres, all race, all whatever. You know what I mean? So it's twofold.
Yeah.